Hey everyone, it's Roy Cruz and Terry Cruz here. Welcome to another Stanley Cup playoffs of the NHL 26 on EA Sports. We're heading to Game 2 of the Stanley Cup playoffs in the first round, and therefore the next team that wins the game will be moving on to the second round for the games for the best of 5. That will be parts of 3 that will be continuing for the game to finish things off, to see what changes in for their part of the standings in each conference zones between the Atlantic, Metropolitan, then across the other hand, it'll be all of it for Central and Pacific. This first matchup we're going to start in Ottawa is Carolina and Ottawa Senators. Part of the Canes as they won the first game, and they definitely did so well, but what about the question for the Sens? The answer to this point of it, we'll have to find out and see what takes in, if there's any complaints to see what gets in for the Senators. For the next starting goaltenders, I have it across as Brandon Bussy. Name is the Bus, but Bussy is the name. And the upper side, you have as Linus Ullmark for the Ottawa Sens that will be playing us for tonight's game. Here the starting of the groups of it, as we noticed before, that Brady Tkachuk is starting. And the other game, of course, we know it's always one best change, Seth Jarvis. And as Jacob Slavin is fair to have his alternative captain, we'll see what it changes up to be anybody that will be playing on the go. And now for my next broadcasting partner, I give a warm welcome over is Tyler Beast. He's also along with Union Jackie. And the third commentary in the center ice, I give a warm welcome is Zoe Troop. We'll see you all folks later for the intermission and the post-game show. Now get ready. Game starts now. Sens, Canes, next on EA Sports. Big night in Canada at the Canadian Tire Century. Hi folks, I'm Tyler Beast and I'm here on my broadcast partner with Union Jackie, and the third commentary of the crew is Zoe True. Sens hockey's ready to go for the second game of the first round. Let's see who takes it all. We start off here as the starting goaltender is Linus Ullmark for the Sens, and for the Carolina Hurricanes we have Brandon Bussy. Svechnikov will start off on the outside of it. He will take a look over to Slavin and to start off with their first possession for Carolina. Finding the Jarvis on the pass. This one is broken up and rebounded by Seth Jarvis. Jarvis will start that one in here. You'll find it over to Jalen Chatfield. He looks over to Sebastian Aho. You'll find again to Jarvis. Swings a look to Slavin. Slavin looks over again to Chatfield. Stick lifted on a shot. Hits the goalpost in the first attempt. That one goes right over into the wall and will swing it out away from Slavin. Well, what a start. This absolutely is interminable. And what to say about this, because Linus Ullmark was watching on that, and it just rings off the goalpost. That's definitely a shocker not to start off for Carolina. Glove save by Linus Ullmark. Will stop the play with under 18 minutes in the first period. Big confidence on the call. That definitely makes a lot of shocking to this moment for Linus Ullmark. One thing we noticed it before is big sponged saves. We noticed how that one would change. Yeah, exactly. I've really seen so much about Linus Ullmark. He's been the perfect and the better energy from the crowd level. What Linus Ullmark has been doing it for is making some sponges. That's definitely what we're really seeing this before. So much energy. The crowd of it doesn't really stand the speed of pleasure of this, but as I mentioned it before about Linus Ullmark, he has a great sponge of it. That's a great save of it to see what gets things in. Outside Walker, you'll find over to Blake. He finds off to Hall. Hall shoots one, bad saved up by Linus Ullmark. Rebounded by Jake Sanderson, and here's another one to Giroux. The Ottawa Sens will have their first possession on the drive as Sanderson's right toward the wing. Pass broken up by Keandre Miller. Tim Stutzel finding Robertson. Shot one, saved up again by Bussy. Robertson again. Shoot save made by Bussy. Walker with the rebound the other way. This will be the Canes that will set out in his zone. Robertson's got it. In zone with the shot. Pushing in front of it. It's almost going to be the cross-checking on Carolina. Well, that's definitely a very close call. This contacting range doesn't really start at all. That's really going to definitely make him hurt. I made him pineful with it. Stanley looks to Ehlers. Nikolai Ehlers and a shot save by Ullmark. And we'll hold things in with under 15:30 remaining in the first period. Big close range and a contacting afterwards as Linus Ullmark watches his on Brendan Bussy with the hugest save. That's definitely what the bus job might do for. And because the nickname it says Bussy, that's what they always say. They refer to him as the bus. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely what everybody's been standing it for. I mean, the bus just happened to be like it's only the last name of it. And I mentioned it before, that's definitely what everybody's been calling him, the name of Bussy. Or bus as short, because that's definitely what the vehicle made that one pronouncing of this. And I know that's not really the right choice of it. I don't know why they call that name, but that's really like a confusing start off for the goaltenders as now for Fredrik Andersen. He's really watching him off and showing how Brendan Bussy will do. That's definitely another sidetrack of it. You got to make sure you're really up to the standpoint of it and the peed and making sure that it's really up to the heavy notch. That's definitely what Brendan Bussy makes to have that hugest mark off in the saves. A lot of time left in the period with only 13:54 remaining in the first period. No score between Sens or Canes. Crowdy on a shot. Over the back of the net. And this one goes right behind the net of the wall. As now you'll send to Robinson. Robinson on a breakaway chain. He's going to get there. Big save by Ullmark. Sponges it off to make a shutdown. That breakaway chain is definitely going to make it impossible. And you've seen about Robinson, that's definitely right across into the creasing. That's tough for the blinding offensive zone. And then the driving for Brendan Bussy. Watches it here, and as Linus Ullmark was scanning the targets, that realizing is definitely going to be almost impossible to try to get that one out. What a great save of it for Linus Ullmark. He's definitely got a lot of sponge of it to try and make his own rebound. Still a lot of effort to have that time in here with only 13:30 remaining in the first period. No score of the game. They're trying to look for the winning of the draw to have that goal. Montepello, they'll start things off here finding the Shane Pinto, and you'll have it over again into Armidio. Armidio knocked him off. Mark Jankowski will send it over to Alexander Carrier. Carrier, full-on-one opportunity. It gets defended off a defender, and now it's Crowdy with the rebound. They'll have a pass to Mike Armidio. Dylan Cousins from the transfer from the Buffalo Sabres. He makes a shot, puts a save on it by Bussy. Over and a shot of it, and Robinson's got it back out. Mark Jankowski will have another new group of the change. Here's Robinson. Got a little sticked up there by Fabian Zetterlund. Current Canes will now make a new line grouping on the change of it, and that pass broken up as Jankowski decided to have a new change off of the group. Out back on ice is Andrei Svechnikov. He'll find it over to Robinson. Robinson went down, and Thomas Chabot with a great defensive effort. 11:30 to go in the first period. Try to have it add on the wheels to this, and Jalen Chatfield will skate out of the zone, clears the range, and this will not be an icing, as this will be Brady Tkachuk to resume the play afterwards. Artem Zev finding Chabot. Chabot looks over to Fabian Zetterlund. Zetterlund deeps it around the net. Rebounded by Slavin. Here's Jacob Slavin. Slavin trying to make that Warrior to have that one painted out. Andrei Svechnikov right into the wing. Banked around the pass. Rebound by Seth Jarvis. He's on the outside of it. Looks at Slavin. Slavin shoots one. Glove save up again by Ullmark with only 10:15 remaining in the first period. Stop that in play, and we'll get some tired defensemen. That's a new line grouping change. I will send it over again is Zoe Troop. He'll start it off, and one thing we call is Brady Tkachuk. Got a relentless skip. Thanks, guys. About what we notice it being about Brady Tkachuk, it's one of our biggest relentless hit on the attack motion. We've seen is a lot of it, and is a big captain for the Ottawa Senators. The one thing we noticed about him before is that he's making a lot of hard and crucial plays afterwards. We've seen it before about Brady Tkachuk, and he is one of the big heavy hitters. Knocked down by the bull range. We know that's definitely not the case of it, but when he does have his own defense, that's going to make him hard down to get a painful relief. Relieving is the energy to be there. It may not be anybody that can do for him. And as we mentioned before, it's going to be a lot harder for Brady Tkachuk to keep that one on play again. This is definitely what we are seeing before our defenders on a better energy. I'll have more about it for Brady Tkachuk if see if any hits goes right after it. Back to you guys. So, Troop, thank you so much. Now back again is Jordan Staal, the captain for the Canes. He'll start his way. Cut motion and a shot. Save made by Elias Almar. That's a one-hog save, and he's really definitely making a drive afterward, and it's not really like the easy way to do this to keep that one from scoring. Big save made by Elias Almar. And back to Jake Sanderson. He'll get it out of here with only 7:30 remaining. You know, that's a big timing effort, and we've seen about Linus Ullmark. That's really one of the hard saves. You cannot make that mess afterwards. That is a huge stop takedown. Here's another one to Cousins, as this one goes the other way for the Sens. On the attack in the Canes territory, shot blocked by Taylor Chatfield, and Slavin with the rebound. He'll get a clear out of it, and now the new line group and change for Ottawa. Staal with the spin, and back in motion, and a tip back goes in. He scores with a big rebound. Jordan Staal. Shocking moment starts up in Ottawa. 1-0 over Sens. Seems like that's something that's gone caught up, and when you see about Jordan Staal, watch what happened with this. That goes back up in the net, and then what happened with this next play? He just tried to have that hipped up, and then go back into the net is Jordan Staal. He had that warrior resistant, and just look at this play for a look. That's right into the net. You know, that's definitely not the great sign to have it start off for the Carolina, but when you see how that happens with Jordan Staal, that's warrior to have that one, put it back into deflection, and then get right past by Elias Almar. That first goal is going to start off for Carolina. Shocking to say about this, Carolina gets an early lead, 1-0 after Slavin with 13:25 on the goal. And now Carolina wins it. That's definitely what the question is. Happened to Jordan Staal. That captain is definitely going to have to be a harder choice to do for to keep things out of the motion. Oh, what a monster down he is. And he'll feel that painful tomorrow. Here's Nikiskin. In zone. It's troubled up for some. And it's stopped by Elias Almar. Manti Paolo the other way now finding to Giroux. Sends it deep to Boberson. No offside for the Sens. And it's just going to now find Gattis there. In corner range around net is Svechnikov. Svechnikov outside of it. Try to look for Gattis there on the backhander. Big save by Elias Almar. And Svechnikov got the big break out of the drive in the defender zone. Knock him down. And it'll be a delayed penalty. That's going to be Tim Stützle on the cross-checking. When you get so much defender's effort here, there's a great chance that you can get run over by the defenders. And then what happens with this, you could definitely try to have that contact his zone. But there is the problem with that, and the referee has been noticing that Tim Stützle had made that knockdown. That's definitely the first penalty kill. Let's go over now to Carolina as I'll set it over to Jordan Staal, the captain for the Canes. Jordan Staal's really one of the better warrior position in the painful for tonight, guys. I mean, you know about what happens with anything about Jordan Staal. His warrior zone is really turning to be excellent at in Stampede. One thing we noticed before is Nicola Ehlers giving a lot of comments for Jordan Staal, and he's really showing it off. His warrior is describing it. The warrior is really beat, and really, it definitely makes sense of it for Jordan Staal to be on it. We really are all into looking for one, and Jordan Staal is one of the best of any history. Doesn't mean to be all, but that brave attempt is my pressure to be his fella to do it for all. I'm looking to see how it happens with Jordan Staal and see if it's anything that can get right into it. This is definitely might be a power play goal we're watching on. Back to you, Felix. He scores! Jackson Blake. He has tipped the rebound, and it's a power play goal for Carolina. Well, I gotta say about Jackson Blake, he definitely had scored it back in there, and Sebastianago, he have gotten it with a shot, and that's a big save. Just when you're looking at it for Sebastianago, that big of a shot, and then this rebound by Jackson Blake, he just goes right in toward the net. That's definitely what the cause of it might just do for him. And when Jackson Blake goes with the backhander percentage, that goes right into the net. You do not see how that one was going to change off. That really makes a great goal for Carolina. They really are pushing their effort to get that one goal up by 2. Power play goal. They are 1 for 1 for Carolina. But as for Ottawa, that definitely kills it off with only 16:09 time on the goal and not pretty much going on anywhere. Big numble down here as Jacob Slavin will have it around the net. And Svechnikov will swing it around the back. Now finds Jacob Slavin. He looks over to Seth Jarvis with only 3:20 to go. This rebound by Slavin. Here finds Jarvis. Looks to Svechnikov. Svechnikov now finds Slavin. Slavin looks over to Chatfield. Backhander. Blocked it up by the defender and rebounded by Svechnikov. Can't get it out of here. Chatfield. Slavin shoots. Save by Lisa Solomon. That one is going to be almost in trouble. And the contact range. Yeah, definitely so. He's definitely having a lot harder to choose for that. I think he can definitely try to keep on saving it big. Oh my gosh, Sebastianato, he knocked one of the players over. Rebounded by Svechnikov as Carolina will now try to seize up the opportunity to have some new line group puts and change on offense. One player goes out, one player goes in for Ottawa. Never get here for the Ottawa Sens. The Senators are back in the offenses now. Mike and Video in the Kings territory. Make a change and a shot saved up by Bussy. Approaching down to a final minute of the first period as Martinook will now set it off to Stahl. Stahl got a first goal of the game. He wants to take another chance, but he finds it to Ellis and he looks over to Miller. Walker shoots, he scores! Jordan Martinook deflects it by Sean Walker. Now we got an extension for Yo. Here's the easy pass player when you're seeing this about Sean Walker. Here's the attempt for Jordan Martinook. Watch when you're looking at the middle here. And there's a deflection that goes right over on a stick, and that one is deflecting it right from the right. And that really blinds it up by Elias Solomon. Well, definitely what happens with that, and then that pass is going to send it over for Keandre Miller. And then this is for Sean Walker, and then right toward the middle, that is where you're going to see that Jordan Martinook has deflected with the goal. That's right into the net. That's where they were spotting with some great screens to have some pickup on offense. That's really a great start of it. Sens trailing by 3 as 19:16 time on the goal for Jordan Martinook. He's got his third goal in the playoffs, second goal in the playoffs, and he's trying to look for a next goal in. Here's Walker to find over to Blake. Blake finds Walker, looks over to Miller. Miller shoots one, blocks a shot for the Senators. Shane Pinto will clear it out.
Sean Walker.
Pinto. And that one will get scared away by Blake, and the puck winds up in the corner. And therefore we end the first period. Shocking start for Canes. They're up by 3. There'll be plenty of more action when we return in Ottawa after these messages. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right with you shortly, and first intermission is next.
Hey everyone, welcome to the first intermission of the NHL on EA Sports of the Stanley Cup playoffs. It really starts speeding here, but it seemed the quiet crowd does roll in for in Ottawa as this really pushes it off. It doesn't start making an effort here to choose for anything. Therefore, as Carolina has already taken it over, it is 3-0 by Ottawa. Man, they're definitely pushing it all they've got. Nothing to believe in, nothing to see them. Let's see what your facts are for the total statistics here, Terry.
Well, I mentioned it before about Carolina. They're pretty much a great team. I mean, they've got higher numbers here and starting to give them a lot of great, comfortable shots. I mean, they are definitely one of the top teams in the Metropolitan Division. Carolina's really not seen anything to control of it, but I know that's definitely not the right choice, what they're really seemingly to do so. But when they did this, they definitely are wanting to smack it and then just keep shooting it and just get away from it. Man, you would not believe so how Carolina is definitely going to keep that pressure in there. But when I say about the Canes, they're rolling it over, they definitely are storming them out. I mean, they definitely want to knock the win out of Senators' way. I mean, there was no chance that you could definitely bring it back in the first period. You're going to need a lot of break, and then probably you're going to need to fix it up again. That's definitely where it's going to take. 88 over 77.1% on passing effectiveness. And it was only 2 minute penalty kill, and 1 power play goal was only 57 seconds. That was a great goal to have that one started off.
Here are the action checkers on the other side of it as we see the first part of the goal happens to be Jordan Stahl. It's 1 goal for Carolina and 1 goal on the shot. It happened to be with Ottawa, and they're just trying to get that goal right into the net. So, free players, Jordan Stahl, one. Then, of course, we have the other candidate, as we got to say about this, is Jordan Martin. That is a deflection to have another goal. And believe it or not, though, that's definitely another great goals that they're really taking it in for Carolina. And now let's have your statistics at what you see so far about Carolina since they had the early lead.
Well, the early lead happened to be with only one. And Carolina is really just one of the best teams. She just never win over Canada. That's it. I mean, they definitely pushed it over to have that better opportunity change. And they definitely did not seize anybody that could change over their one team to the other. I know it's definitely really constipating at so much hard level, but this is not what they were really doing for. There's no way you can definitely answer it off in the first period. That definitely needs to explain things. Now, how about you, Roy Cruz, about the Ottawa Senators?
Oh, it's definitely what they are trying to do. They're just trying to get a lot of shots in there. But Carolina, they have been sweeping that much. They cannot seem to get an idea of how to get that shot back in the net, and they cannot let it get away with this. I mean, if they're going to have to try to look for answers, they can't get away with anybody. That's definitely need to get another clues in there for the Senators. If they wanted to get it back in there, they gotta try to find help. That's the only thing that I've only seen on.
And what's your statistics on going to be at the end of the second period?
Well, it's going to have to be 4-1, I believe. So, because only one goal happened to be with Carolina and only for the Senators, I think they're only just going to have one goal in the second period.
I believe this is going to stay the same. I don't think anything is going to definitely change. So we'll see if anything has changed up. I mean, that's my prediction for you, Roy. But hopefully, we'll see how they can definitely answer it off.
All right, let's go back over to the Canadian Tire Century to start off for the second period. We end up with the first intermission here. We'll see what changes in for the second period.
Now let's go back into the game, and we'll see you folks later for the second intermission. Welcome back, everybody, as we're ready to get started for the second period in Ottawa, Canada. We're ready to go, and all players are rehydrated. Let's get back to work. All right, Union Jackie, about the first period recap, what do you see how the Canes and the Sens do while playing here on ice? Carolina Hurricanes have been starting off to get that one with the longest straightaway, and they really are starting to get a lot of big knockdowns, and pretty much there's twice to say about this. They're really starting to make that one modelly and participating, but they're definitely doing so much of the hard work, and it's dreading to do a knockdown by the teammates. This opponent is not going to be the great start of it, and what I mentioned before about this there, Tyler, we know that's definitely not what everybody has been seeing this, because how they're really getting a lot of cheatings, and because the Suns are definitely starting to make that one mess up. It doesn't really mean that they're really starting to do it all. He scores! Oh, wow, Sebastian Aho! How about that cut again? That's definitely a quick pace. Yeah, it is a quick pace. I mean, you see on Sebastian Aho, he really has done that one again. Check out he's flying. And he's definitely a pass from Jacob Slavin, and he definitely took it over it, and he just didn't think that was going to be enough for Jacob Slavin. And definitely what happens with Venus Allmark, he wasn't really watching it, and he was way too quick. That's definitely going to cause him for Sebastian Aho, and his Carolina Hurricanes, they definitely are sweeping it down. What a great shot on that net. Anton Forsberg is definitely watching here on the side of it. Linus Allmark is trying to fight for it, but he has his last chance left. Yeah, it's his last chance, and I believe that this is definitely going to happen with everybody, but they really are starting to say that this is not the best thing, that we're really seeing things from Toronto. And because of the last postseason, they definitely have that win, and they took a beat over it. But now they're going to definitely have a hard time. Oh, and he's at it again! Wow. Sens fans in disappointment as Logan Stanley scores on a 2-on-1 fast break. Well, that's it. Looks like it's all she wrote. And definitely the Allmark, he's definitely not seeing things pretty comfortable, and it looks like that's definitely a bait. And then that pass happened to be afterwards, and this quick release is going to definitely take things over. Logan Stankoven had that one-time snap on the go. That definitely has done it.
Look how that pass is presenting in here. Watch what Blake makes. This is right over to quick release it right to Logan Stankelman, and what a snap he did. Carolina up by 5 that time. They are shocking down. They're hushing the crowd here in Ottawa. Well, that's no big offense afterwards, and as Anton Forsberg, he definitely might be able to have to help him out here for the rest of the period, so we're not sure how that is going to change up. So if he misses that one again, then it's over. Then this will never be the same thing. Now that one is going to definitely push that across to keep that out of here. Here's Hall, outside of his zone. Hall battle along the boards, and slowly battled by Stankovic. Andrew Miller shoots, and the easy save does so for the Osalma. Here are the upcoming games here, as we've got some couple of each coming down right toward you. We've got a next game underway, approaching very soon, but after that game, we'll have later tonight, as we will see the next matchup as the Oilers and the Ducks re-meet again in Anaheim, California for later tonight's game. Then tomorrow night, we'll have it across in the other way for every each. That's because we noticing before, that's one place and to the other. As we've got the big one to take the matchup, the Boston Bruins and the Sabres again here in Boston that time. And then after that game, we've got another great matchup, the Wilds and the Stars. Are better to be the Bourne takedown as they did. And in the last game, we have is the Lightning and the Canadiens here at Montreal. It's going to be another big rival of the game, and we cannot wait to see what's going to happen with tomorrow nights from the afternoon. Be sure to stick around here for tomorrow nights of the game, and there may be plenty more action underway and in the future of the home for the SOB skating. Here's Svechnikov outside, now finding to Akko. He gets rumbled down, and now here's Forgel. He'll start it over to give the pass to Cousins. Cousins sticked him up by Slavin. Outside Spence. Spence looks over to Jabot. And Akko will have it out of here. This one will send it off to Svechnikov. He'll send it around the net. The Hurricanes back in offense, looking over to Sebastian Akko. And now this will take into Goddesfair. He'll try this thing again. Svechnikov. And this is going to be another delay penalty on the Sens. They had smashed it, and it's busty into the bench. That starts off completely, and it's been just like a lot of complaints here, where Rod Ambrosius and now the head coaches for the Sens is not looking this good at all. That's definitely a bad line grouping, and the defensive is not doing so well. Keeping the puck moving here from the outside of it as they get the extra tacker on here. Nichushkin now finding the Goddesfair. He'll have it to look to Akko. Akko to Nichushkin, and now finding to Akko. Not a new group change here for descent. As Stankovic, right from the outside of it, looks to Goddesfair. Right toward the net. And this will have to stop and play as this Cousins with the interference.
Bottle penalty number 24 has a 2-minute.
Watch how he's doing this, and that doesn't Dylan Cousins. He's knocking it, and it's right in toward the net. That's not a good sign of it, and you're really not getting a lot of great confident feelings to have that one smacking him down. That definitely is going to make a bad place to happen for Sens. That's definitely by Dylan Cousins, who's going to give it up. And now as for the Sens, they have another penalty kill. Canes on another power play. They're 1-for-1 on a score on a power play goal, as they already are trying to look for another power play on the game to try to have the extension. We'll see what happens with that. Here's Jackson Blake, and here's another one to Ellers. That definitely almost had to be a short-handed chance here for the Sens to get this up on the board, but unfortunately, that one really stayed it out, and that's a lot of big help for a defensive effortly for Carolina. They definitely are starting to do a lot of changes to get things out of it. I know it's not really easy. Well, easy to say about this for Carolina. They really are one of the strongest teams in the NHL league. Blake finds it again to Akko. Akko looks to Hall. Hall surrounded by a double defenders. Akko outside Hall. Hall shoots, saved by Ullmark. 2-time stop made by Ullmark. Claude Giroux sends it deep and into the Carolina territory.
Gosh, is fair. We'll have a little bit more room here, and they'll find again at Sebastian Aho. Aho to find again to Hall. Here's Hall. Oh, he definitely messed it up. Bussy will have it to Goddess there with 30 seconds. Now to send a deep pass to Blake. Blake looks over. Stick lifted. Defended. Ehlers. Ehlers shoots and saved by Omar. Sanderson clears it. Giroux on the rush. Sticked it up. A short-handed chance for Giroux. He scores! Now as the Sens, they've got their first goal in a second period. Claude Giroux, his first goal in the playoffs. Well, that only breaks it down, and then that happens to be with this, and he just cannot get it defended optimally. That really happens to be Claude Giroux, and he rushes toward it, and now Sharon Chatfield was going to go on by. Giroux gets away with it to a strike, and now beats over by the goaltender. Now we got him on the board. That definitely doesn't stay long as they play it in. Short-handed goal is a short-handed try, and they've done it. That's the first goal for Claude Giroux by Sanderson and Linus Ullmark. Nichushkin. And out of the penalty box is Cousins. Power play's over. They're 1 for 2 for Carolina. Well, happened to be only one thing, and we noticed him before about how much with Claude Giroux, he definitely really changed it off, and that's really another risky zone. That's the big plank of the range shot of it, and happens to go with the Sens. They really wanted to get that goal right away. No change-off would ever do for. If you're the Sens fan, you would really have a lot of chance and of opportunity range to keep that one from outside and playing incompetently. That's really what the Sens do to keep that one out of here. And I know that for Jalen, he really had taken a hard hit. That's a smackdown, and what a big defensive effort. We passed the midway mark in the second period. 5-1, the leadoff for Carolina, up by 4. Bukowski wins the draw, and Miller will have another change-off. This is another big breakaway chain. Here we go again. And the blocker saves to have it showed up by Linus Ullmark. Here's DeAndre Miller finding Walker. Walker behind the back. Cousins trying to get away from the penalty kills, and he's trying to have it back out. Now as though the Carolina back on defense. Here's another change for Ottawa. Brady gets shot. Cousins, stick lifted, shoots one, saved by Bussy. Walker out of the way and rebounded by Chabot. Greg knocks things over. DeAndre Miller will clear it out. Here's Brady Tkachuk for the Ottawa Sens. Time's up across the cut. Dylan Cousins, and he's on the attack. Stick this poke checked it up by the Carolina. And here's Shakowski. Shakowski right there in the middle. He'll try to give that one pass up, and he scores! Carolina adds another power on the advantage, and it's another playoff goal, William Carrier. Well, that is a big breakaway, and not really what they mentioned it before. That really is going to definitely poke it out and definitely get out of the way. Look, watch what happened with this. And then only Mark Jakowski, he really has gotten that pass, and it's right over in front of it, and that's definitely right in toward the net. Now the Sens fans, they just couldn't believe it. Ullmark, he's definitely finished for tonight. It's been a big disappointment here in Ottawa. It's a 6-1 lead. They're back up by 5 to have the extension again. There's no way you can definitely defend it, and there's no way that you can definitely try to keep that smacking it out. If you play for the Canes, you definitely could get a lot of scores as much as you want, but just don't get a lot ahead of yourself. You really have no patience to do for them. Shane Pinto with the rebound with 6:19 to go in the second period. And looking Singleton will now have it to Joe Chatfield. Chatfield looks out to looking catch Singleton. Cross from the back is Blake. Chatfield with the rebound. Here's Carolina. Trying to make a new change out here for Hall as he has to look to Slavin. Slavin looks to Hall. Hall in motion in front. Walker saved up again by Linus Ullmark as he got a denying effort to shut him down. Artem's up in middle. And this one is broken and stopped played by Brendan Bussey, as you'll have that one covered in with only 5:04 remaining in the second period. No big energy from the crowd given from here. 6-1, Carolina in the front seat. Aho wins the draw, and Chatfield has it sent over, and here comes Svechnikov. Svechnikov breaks it up by the defenders. Nikishkin looks to Aho. Aho looking to Chishkin. Chishkin shoots in the wrister, and a save made by Olmark. Olmark still fighting for his life, and he definitely trying to get us another good goal opportunity to have it for Canes, but that's for Olmark. He's really trying to stop from the crowd. Aho wins again. Back-to-back draws. Nikishkin in! And he's almost going to be ran over by Linus Olmark, but as he will take it out, here's Claude Giroux. Poked it across. Big save by Brendan Bussey. Wow, a big break by Giroux. And as Gottesbeer will clear that zone out, this is going to be an icing on Carolina. 3:49 to go in the second period. You'll have a lot of time to spend things off. Well, you have to see about Jake Bomberson, and that really is right toward in behind the puck. And after this big hit, that's not one, there's another. And that is a big smackdown. You just really have a lot of relentless on the defensive zone to have in self-defense. Still no time to give it to spare. It's only 14:06 for Ottawa Sens. And they're now ready for another puck drop. Now to win for the Senators. A shot and a save by Bussey. Stützle back to Nikishkin. Has it to Svechnikov. Svechnikov will clear the zone out of here. Here's Sanderson. Put in a big hit. No penalty on Carolina. Back to Bopperson the other way for the Sens. Trying to get a pass off. Artem's up. Looks to Sanderson. Sanderson in middle. Chopped it too wide, and it's rebounded by Sean Walker. And to Jarvis is broken by Sanderson. Here's another one to Brady Tkachuk. Brady Tkachuk right into her in the middle. And try to get off to Walker as he have that one buffering it out. The Canes are back in the offense. New line group change for Carolina. The rebound by Jake Sanderson. You'll find it over to Brady Tkachuk. He finds Tim Stützle. Stützle chopped it up too soon as Martinook with the rebounding. And off again to Stahl. Stahl slows down. Stahl broken up with the poke check. And Shane Pinto will have it the other way for Ottawa. Lifts it up into the air, and now it's Jalen Chatfield with 1 minute approaching. Over again on Martinook. Spins it. Good stick lift by Sanderson. And it's broken away again. Hellers. He goes in. Another save made by Linus Olmark. Big save doesn't mean a comeback afterwards. That's really another great stoppage. Sign Stahl. Stahl shoot. Martinook on the backhander. Saved by Linus Olmark. Stahl chopped it, and way out of the mark is Shane Pinto. And the Sens will clear that zone. The second period comes to the end, and we pause it here. 6-1, Carolina looking to sweep the game in round one to beat by the Sens. 6-1. What will the Sens do? We'll see them back afterwards after the second intermission. And it's next. Hey everyone, welcome to the second intermission of the NHL on EA Sports. Of the Stanley Cup playoffs, this wasn't quite easy enough. Carolina had been shooking it down afterwards. They took in a lot of massive hits here, and they were really starting to bite down the bunch. They don't have to care about for anything, but that really took a long way down to have that one smacking and smuggling right in between the zones. The offense is great, but it doesn't seem to change oftenly. And now I have it over to you, Roy Cruz, about the second statistics here, right across from the Sens and Carolina.
Well, so far, that's definitely one change-up to be bad and possible. It's just really what they mentioned to say, that is for Ottawa Sens, they definitely had scored it on a shorthanded goal. No matter what they did, that's definitely a change-up, and they can definitely break it out of the way. I know it's nobody's like their favorite, but no standpoint to do the thing that they're really trying to get that first goal. What I mentioned it before here, Terry, this is really what I have to say about Carolina. They're smoothing it up, 11:39, and they only have 2:57 power play minutes. That's only what they are doing it to keep that one out, smuggling it, to have that one passing by Linus Ullmark. And Anton Forsberg is watching it out here on the side of the bench, so he's definitely trying to weigh it up and see how he could handle it. And I don't see anything with the evidence if this one is going to miss or get it back into that play. This is definitely going to cause it for Linus Ullmark to try to give him a lot of tired energy from this level, and wouldn't be the right thing to do for him.
Now let's have a look at the total statistics on the other side of it, as we are seeing this. That's a goal for Sebastian Aho and a goal for Claude Giroux. That really had only one goals in each for the playoffs to have it pushed and bounding. I mean, it's not really the thing about this, Roy, but let's have your thoughts about the Carolina Hurricanes.
Well, there's definitely starting to do a lot of smudge, crumbling, and emotion. I don't know how they were definitely doing that. That really was going to be like a long way to get that one finished up. Nobody could ever do that. Especially that Claude Giroux was trying to get that smack into over by Sebastian Aho, and they really couldn't get that defensive effort. This is a lot of higher overall range and bounding that they're really doing for. Carolina Hurricanes are really taking a smack out of it. They weren't sure how that is going to keep on playing. This is definitely how impossible it is. You got to make sure you really get into the range afterwards, unless you are done, or we're going to have to keep it going. And how about you for the Senators? For you, Terry?
I think this is totally it. I mean, the Senators are really trying to get to the second round because only the last time they did it, they played against the Florida Panthers. That was the first one, but they at least did. But then going back from here is not going to be successful. Because for Ottawa Senators, that's definitely on the lower average for the Eastern Conference, and they're really trying to get it, smuggling it out. They don't seem how that's going to work. Well, that's it. It's going to be the end of it if they don't keep it close game numbers in tight, or is it going to be a breakaway chain? That's what I'm thinking it's going to be.
So what is your prediction here of the final score?
It will be, well, that's going to be all the changes in there. I think it's going to have to be a 6-3 game for the Ottawa Sens as they ended up, and as Carolina will be moving on to the second round.
I agree with you, too. I think it's going to be a 6-3 game for Carolina, so we'll find out what happens next.
All right, well, let's see how they can definitely hold things up and try to have it out as we end the second intermission here.
Let's go back down over to Tyler and Union Jackie for the start off of the third period. We'll be back with you soon for the post-game show.
This comes down to the third period, a win or go home for Sens. It really was a big struggle afterwards, but this was really just how they're doing, and they just wouldn't be playing it afterwards to try to keep that out. Therefore, will the third period survive for Ottawa, or will this be the end of the zone and will end their season here? Alright, let's see what happens with this one as I send it over to you, Union Jackie, about the second period recap.
Well, this has definitely been a big frustrating, and I know it's not the start off what they really are seeing things for. But we don't really mention it before now, and then here's another one. That's going to be another big penalty for the Ottawa Senators. They're really starting to go bad in shape. But I mentioned to say this before. I mean, Ottawa Senators are really trying to look for a win and get the game 3. I don't think it's not going to happen because it seemed like that the Carolina Hurricanes are definitely trying to put it all what they can. And they really had a lot of smackdowns to get things right across. They could not believe it how they were definitely trying to keep that out.
Svechnikov trying to find again in Chatfield. Here's another one to Aho. Aho in trouble. Trying to look for Slavin. Slavin in front. Shot blocked and stop made as is Popperson in the penalty box. This is the box sign of it, and as you see with Drake Popperson, that hits it again on Jalen Chatfield. That's definitely another big contact afterward. Now the Sens fans, they are really disagreeing on this. They could not get a standard at this point. 1 minute and 54 was to the time on the penalty for Drake Popperson. They were really not getting a lot of big pleasants of everybody. Senators fans are really starting to go disbelieving on these Carolina Hurricanes, and therefore Carolina Hurricanes are getting another power play chance. Here's Zajiskin now finding the Blake. Blake for the backhander. Oh, Stankovic could have had it for his own rebound, but that one was a little too late. Oh, we'll have to reset the group up for Carolina. Here comes Zajiskin around the net. Try to get to Pinto. Ehlers finding the Stankovic. He looks over to Nikishkin. There's another one of Ehlers. Ehlers poked it by Shane Pinto. This one poked it, and that one will clear the zone. Off and Nikishkin to Blake. Carolina on the attacking, rushing forward, and on the offense is Stankovic. Stankovic trying to watch out. Ehlers can't get enough here. They mess it up. Nikishkin again to Stankovic. Stankovic watches it for a big second and trying to help out with Nikishkin with deflection. That doesn't really work. And he'll have find it again over the Hall. Looks to Jarvis. Here's Nikishkin. Nikishkin. He should save again by Allmark. 16:49 to go in the third period. And I'll have another puck drop coming up right away. 23-22 hits as they put up one slim lead over Carolina. They really don't have anybody with their patience, and they really just kept on doing their favorite, and they really wanted to get it smocking. And now as for Sens, this is the chance that they wanted to do for this. If they wanted to get a goal, they got to start showing some offensive and then try to look for open cuts. Goddess Fair finding Ako, who looks to stall, and now here's Svechnikov. Ako looks to stall. Nice open on the feed. He scores! Well, the power play has done it. Jordan still has too. Yeah, you could definitely see how they can definitely get it off to this and not pass. What a looking open range by Jordan Stahl, and that is another big goal. And as this one goes right across here, here's how Jordan Stahl did. That is a great motion. That defender was really on the cut of it, and that is an open look. Carolina fans really seemingly that they're hopping up. They're looking for a sweep. And as Linus Ullmark, it's going to be the end of his night. So Linus Ullmark exits the third period as Anton Forsberg will be able to have it all, regrouping it up and be prepared as Jordan Stahl has 2 goals in the playoffs. This is definitely a disappointment, and as for Linus Ullmark, everybody's been waiting on it so long. Man, you cannot let it get away with those defenders, and that's really why that the Canes are definitely overrated teams. Well, they definitely are. I don't know. I definitely don't know if they are overrated on the team. If you're gonna say it, Jackie. I have to say about this, and it's definitely what they really have to do for. That's definitely what really are seeing things, and it's not really to start off, but they can get there through. But when I said it clearly, I meant to say that this is why that the Sens really couldn't get a lot of facing wind to do all their favorites. Vermeer will be the new replacement for the Ottawa Senators goaltender, as Linus Ullmark, his season of his career is done. That is blocked up, and Slavin will have that one kicked over to Svechnikov. They are sounding siren here, there, Carolina. They definitely are doing things again. Yep, you can totally hear it. You can totally hear it from everybody, and I know it's definitely what they're all expecting to see. Thomas Shabbat finding to Mike and Midio. Jarvis will take the Slavin. Now Carolina will bring Sebastian Aho. Aho, what would he do next? That one is broken by Mike and Midio again. And as William Carrier will have it again to Slavin. Slavin knocks down. Here's Sebastian Aho. Aho daggers it in. Diving play made by Vermeer. And now again to Walker. He'll find it over to Miller. Well, I can see now that the defenders are really starting to get that smog up in shape. I don't know how he was able to do that, but that really is another knockdown to a hardness side. That's goodness to take on things for a clear range out of the way. Still have a lot of time to go here. 7-1, big lead up by 6. Here's Sanderson. He'll now have it again to Tim Stutzel for the Senators. Boberson chops it, and a stop made by Bussey. 13-13 remaining in the third period. Sens are just trying to get their answer straight away, but as they were defending it up, All the fans are definitely leaving their seats. They definitely just couldn't get back into the winning. Here's Subs. Up shoot save by Bussy. And around the back is Tchaikovsky. Walker. A deep zone. Robinson. What will he do? Can't get away with this. And a stop made by Ramir. Stutzel over to get a Giroux. Giroux right near the boards. Trying to get it cleared out of here by Walker. And as Giroux trying to get that one sticked out, Tim Stutzel steps it away. Artem's up, shots blocked. Rebound by Blake. And as Hall will have it cleared out, back into the Anaheim, Ottawa territory. And broken by Bofferson. Bofferson to pass to Zub. Here's Zub. In Wayne. Giroux shoots wide. Rebound by Stankovic. And this one goes right back to Tim Stutzel. Tim Stutzel looked over to Kachuk. 11:15 to go in the third period. Giroux knocked him down. Back in zone. Saved by Bussy. Rebound by Carolina. Broken it up on a hit. Stopped by Bussy. Bussy will have things cleared in with under 11 minutes in the third period. Well, that big smackdown is definitely right between the blue line. That Brady Kachuk was a big slam. Watch this. That goes right over toward the wall, and you can see how he was reacting to this by Taylor Hall. That's definitely a knockdown. That is crazy attack. 88 over 84 passing effectiveness as Carolina trying to make that one win it off. And a win. Here's Sanderson. That chops it up too soon. And Jacob Slavin will have it over to Martinuk. Martinuk drifted out of the way. Good shot. Sending it all the way around the net. Jalen Chatfield will have it over to get a Martinuk. He's all alone. Here he comes. Stopped by Ramir. That one breakaway chain helps him due to pressure by Ramir. And as Orlina Solmark, that wasn't pretty enough to make that affair. Turned out to be really well. Well, I know you've got to see about this, about Ramir. That really is a huge, remarkable sight. And you have to see that is to give that one a good away for a defensive effort. Stopped again by Ramir. And as Sanderson will now find it over to Cousins. Cousins finding it off. William Carrier will have it off to Tchaikovsky. He'll look over. Cousins shoots. Save made by Bussy. Kachuk behind the back. Slavin trying to kick that one out as Chatfield will have it over to Robinson. He will slow things in opportunity race. And off to Tchaikovsky. He'll kick things over. William Carrier kicking it over to Tchaikovsky. Knocking him down. Rebound by William Carrier. The Canes are back in the offense. He'll find over to Tchaikovsky and have a new line group change for Carolina. No penalty on Ottawa again. And as Carolina, they're starting to get away with it. Yeah, they are starting to get away with it. I mean, they're definitely starting to get all they've got. But as for the Sens, they definitely really want to knock somebody down. And they're really have nowhere to try to change it. And that powerful win is going to definitely change it all. One storm goes down. Other one might have it all. And hey, there is no change when you really need to do for. Shot blocked under midway mark of the third period. Walker, Miller, fires, saved by Ramir. Blake shoots wide. Maybe batted up again by Miller. DeAndre Miller again to Blake. Back to Miller. Miller looks to Walker. Walker shoots, glove, saved by Ramir. Ramir's going to hang things here with under 7 minutes in the third period. Well, I had never seen how Brady Kachuk. That is another tremendous game. You have to see that one when there's going to get a banger. That one tips it up and you are not seeing that one clear motions. That one can definitely put a lot of huge knockdowns to take the opponent across. See anything familiar? Nope. As the fans of the Sens are leaving their benches with under 7 minutes to go, this has been a shocking and disappointment. Afterwards, they're really seeing things. Jarvis brings the goalposts. Otto from the wing, now finding Svechnikov. Svechnikov in range of motion. That shot blocked and goes right to the wall. Josh's fair, now has it to Nikishkin. Haven't seen his goal for Josh's fair, and he's trying to look for the send it pass. And Claude Giroux needs some answers here. Sebastianako gives it away. Here's Nikishkin. Nikishkin in front. And Sanderson is giving it out. And now back to Tim Stützle. They're not seemingly they're getting some defensive strong communication effort. They really are not sure what is happening afterwards. They're starting to lose their patience. They don't have the right choice to give some room. They've really been knocking it down so many times. That's definitely what they're seeing for Carolina. If they really wanted to get that one of theirs to get that credits. No better energy would do for the crowd. And on the fans, get a lot of big knocking ground outs to have it all in. Svechnikov back over to Jarvis. Here's another one. Got us there. Nikishkin shots blocked. Knocked down by Nikishkin on Shabbat. Back to Gadish there. They wanted to spend a lot of timing passing around and a save by Ramir. Thomas Shabbat finds Cousins. And Svechnikov with the rebound has it off to Walker. And a shot. Big save by Bussy. Walker again. Finding the Svechnikov. He looked to pass to Stahl. Jordan Spence the other way for it, Ottawa. Cousins shoots one. That one is off on the wall. And try to get a rebound here. And it's got his sphere. Will have it out. In zone finding to Martinuk. 3:15 remaining in the third period. As they're trying to look for a sweep. And a save by Ramir. That blocker is really trying to help this all out without Linus Ullmark to have that one pressuring it out. It does seem so. I mean, I know that's not really what they always seem to say for, but whenever they did, they could definitely try to keep that one from going out and work from the tackles. He scores. Fabian Zetterland, and as now it goes back down by 5. He only gets his first playoff goal. That's all he answers. Doesn't matter if you can get it through, and that's Fabian Zetterland. He really has it right into the range. That's really what the goal really marks. Just looking at one part of the goal, I mean, I know you want to see that in the third period. That's really right into the zone. And that is a great signal to have it for Ottawa, to have it changed over, and it's Warren for jail. He really wants to see me do for it, and it's a Vernon Bossy. That really moves it too quickly and too soon. That timing is a little off. That really can get it out of the way. So the Sens are trying to get back down in by 5, but it won't be enough time, and it's only 2:30 remaining. This could be the end of its road for Ottawa Senators to try to do for another goal, and gloved up by Bussy. 2:13 to go in the third period, and some fans didn't really want to leave their seats. They just definitely wanted to see the rest of the game as they wanted to move the chairs as long as they can get through. All right, I'll send it over to Zotroop, who had the best player of the night. Well, we don't mention to tell you there, fellas, but I gotta say that this is really what everybody's been looking at it for across, and we all know for is Jordan Stahl. He's one of the best, and he has 2 goals in his game against the Sens. 2 power play goals. Never seem to do anything for real. What matters is for Jordan Stahl, that's a great goal to have that one resistant. No playing performance afterward. I mean, that is all the games he wrote. We'll see how this changes out for the next round to face against between the Penguins or the Flyers. This all brings for 1. All right, thank you, Zochu. All backhanders Stanley by Ramir as they're under a minute remaining in the third period. Suns fans, they really just don't seem how they can definitely try to do all they can. But the favorite it is, it's all what it goes for. Save by Bussy. Here's Blake. Outside of his zone, and as for that, Carolina will seek its road victory. Brandon Bussy, biggest big saves against the Ottawa Senators. And man, what do you believe in now? You really have to do everything what you can for. Well, I know it's not really easy enough, and everybody's been like doing all as they can do for. Now this is nowhere, but they can definitely start things off a new season without them. Well, Sens fans, it's been the end of it, but as you know for, it's a sweep. They shut down the Sens, and they're going to the next round as they take the offseason to beat Ottawa. Well, that's all they should wrote. And as for Brendan Bussy, it's a big save of it, and you can definitely feel the crowd of it. Not a big response. They definitely don't care about their team. Sens fans exits their season As for Carolina Hurricanes, they earned their victory road on a sweep 2-0 in the first round, and Brandon Bussey, big hero goaltender of the night. Well, that's all for now, and as along with my broadcast partners, along with the center ice crew of Zotroop, and along with me, Tyler, and you and Jackie, hope you're enjoying it, and we'll see you again next time. Thank you all very much for watching, and please, have a great night, and we'll see you back for the next season. So long in Ottawa, Canada, of the Sens Hockey. Bye-bye for now.
All right, thank you so much, Sir Tyler. And as the Sens fans exit, Skier to 3 stars. Jackson Blake with only 1 goal, 1 assist, and 1 hit. Not only does this to have a deflection and put it back in for Jackson Blake. Second star player of the game for Carolina Hurricanes is Jordan Staal. He had 2 goals and 2 hits. Not only has making the power play goals impossible to change it oftenly. That great guy is going to put up a hit right up across and get that goal. And tonight's first star player of the game is Sebastian Aho with 1 goal, 2 assists, and 4 hits. That's really what they mentioned to say. This assist is going to put it down, and as for the cut in motion to start for the second period, Aho has done it off again. Here, the 3-star players, as these are not always being common for the Ottawa Sens, they just didn't really think it would be a great day for that. And the statistics are 43 over 29 total shots on goal for Carolina, 41 over 31 hits for Ottawa, 1747 over 307 for Carolina time on attack, 86 over 85 passing effectiveness for Carolina, 25 over 10 face-off wins for Ottawa. 6-minute penalty kill for Ottawa over Carolina, and they had 2 out of 3 power play goals with only .440 and 1 shorthanded goal. Well, that's it for now. Carolina is moving on to the next round, and they will see who can face against between Philadelphia or Pittsburgh. That'll be the next games in just a couple of days on the other side of it soon.
We won't know what will happen if there is going to be a win between the Sens or the Carolina, but your easy call was Carolina, and we don't know what's going to be the other side of it between the Flyers or the Penguins, of course. I mean, that's definitely what they're really starting to do it oftenly.
Well, therefore, we'll see them in a couple of games, and for the next game coming up, the Golden Knights and the Mammoths are next underway.
If you're tuning us for the next game, stay tuned. We've got a next one underway for you right after these messages. But if you're not joining us for the second game, thanks for watching, and we'll see you folks next time for as a while as the NHL Stanley Cup playoffs of the EA Sports style. Terry Crews
and Roy Cruz out. We'll see you folks later, and for those of you not, thanks for watching.
If you don't, somebody will.